As a community minister, I occasionally preach from a church pulpit about the usual theological themes, but the obvious sometimes bears repeating. I am never called to the scene of a woodland calamity to give a sermon. Chaplaincy, above all, is about showing up, demonstrating by sheer presence the truth of the line in the 23rd Psalm. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I need fear no evil, for thou art with me. A chaplain is called to seek and find the word in the world, in the places and moments where human beings are wavering on the thin edge, by a hospital bed, in a prison cell, at the scene of an accident, at a fire, in the midst of battle, or on the shore of a cold body of water, where the theological rubber must meet and hold the road. The chaplain's job is to be present, but those the chaplain serves with, nurses, doctors, law enforcement officers, firefighters, soldiers, or Maine game wardens, are there not to feel, believe, or be. They are there to do something. One December day in central Maine, warden diver Tony Gray, for example, had to swim through winter water so thick with ice crystals it had the consistency of a Slurpee. With thickly gloved hands, he gripped the handles of an underwater planing board, tethered by a long, upward slanting polypropylene tow rope to the stern of the Warden Service dive boat. At little more than strolling speed, the boat traveled the surface of Masquinongi Pond, trailing Tony. Relieved of the need to provide forward propulsion, Tony could spend his air and energy scanning the submerged landscape through the slightly fogged lens of his dive mask. He was hoping to discern a human form, or catch the pearly gleam of Caucasian skin amid a crepuscular green-gray clutter of shoals, stones, and submerged tree limbs. Periodically, he glimpsed an undulation in the murk, the black flippers of his dive partner and fellow warden, and he could hear through static the deep voice of Warden Bruce Loring. Air check, Tony, Rick, do you copy? Never entirely reliable, underwater communications gear, or comm gear, seems always to be most fickle when most urgently required. Tony's answer wasn't clearly heard the first time he gave it, nor the second, though naturally Warden Bruce Loring's muttered, "God damn it," came through loud and clear. Tony is a young man with an appealingly expressive face. Once back on the boat and warmed until his lips were no longer blue, he would hear my words of good news. Tony, buddy, do you copy? This day and your work is holy. As a chaplain, I represent the love that is the will of God, but Tony and his comrades are the ones who actually do it. Even on days like this, when beyond doubt the man Tony had been searching for was dead. The Warden Service dive team couldn't give his family a rescue, only the hope that they might be allowed to know and tell the end of his life story, and it was definitely not the end they wanted. A son shouldn't die before his mom, the missing man's mother declared later that evening. It isn't natural. Clad in a t-shirt that revealed sundry intricate tattoos on her plump forearms, she was sitting on the living room sofa in her trailer, a box of Kleenex in her lap, and a wastebasket half full of Kleenex by her feet. Her hair was the color of a manila envelope, gray at the roots, and her fingernails were scarlet. I sat near her on a squashy chair that smelled strongly, though not unpleasantly, of damp hay.